Hello, this is Paula Endres, publisher of the Macoupin County Enquirer Democrat newspaper, and I'm here at the newspaper today with Beth Toon, candidate for Mayor of Carlinville in the upcoming April 6, 2021 election. I have a series of 5 questions to ask you, Beth, followed by 2 specific questions that are unique to you. And these questions were provided by the readers of the newspaper who were asked to submit questions. The format of this forum is to allow both an opening and a closing statement of 2 minutes each. And you will be allowed 2 minutes at the conclusion for your closing statement, as well as 2 minutes to answer each question. Thank you for your time and participation today, Beth. We appreciate that.
No, I appreciate the chance that you've offered to me to come and answer my constituents' questions. I'm running for mayor because I really feel that we can be better than we are now. The old ways aren't working. It's time for a change. We've got to come up with new ideas that are going to move us forward and not keep us just moving laterally along. I have 15 years of business experience. I served on the council for 4 years, and I served as economic development coordinator for the city of Carlinville for 4 years. So I feel like I have the experience to help build a more transparent relationship with our businesses and our community. And I feel like I would be the right choice to move us forward in the city of Carlinville. But I need your ideas, and I need your help, and I need your vote, please, on April 6th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Beth. Your first question is, in your opinion, would Carlinville benefit from employing a city manager?
Absolutely. This is something that I want to bring forward. It's not a new idea, and it actually is something I brought up when I worked for the city as economic development coordinator. I think for continuity of city business, we need a city manager. We need somebody in there who understands government business, government law, procedures, policies. I truly and strongly would encourage the council to help me find the money to move that forward so that we can hire a city manager. I am 100% in favor of that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 2. Carlinville has a serious problem with noise pollution. Illegal aftermarket mufflers are prevalent on pickups, cars, and motorcycles. What will you do to assure residents that citizens can enjoy peace and quiet in their own homes?
Well, there are ordinances concerning noise. There are nuisance ordinances that could be addressed. One of the things I would like to do is have an ordinance officer, someone who is specific to going around town, and I guess you would include this noise issue in the ordinance officer's duties so that any ordinance violation can be addressed when it's first brought to light. So I would enforce the ordinances.
Okay, thank you. The third question is a series of questions that deal with transparency in government.
Okay.
So the first question is, will you commit to discussing important issues during the meeting instead of taking a vote immediately because it's been discussed in private prior to the meeting?
When I served on the council, that was one of my biggest concerns and complaints, is that there was no discussion. There was very rarely discussion at a meeting. And I would enforce the transparency completely. I think that the public has a right to know. The aldermen need to express their views so that their constituents know how they feel about something, why they want to do whatever it is we're discussing. And I want everyone to be aware of where we stand financially, where we stand on issues, why we're voting to do something, how long it's going to take to do this process, and how we're going to accomplish it. I just really feel strongly that transparency is key to accountability in government.
Okay, and the second part of that issue is, will you address the public on non-legal matters versus having the city attorney answer most questions?
I'm not even sure that the city attorney needs to be at most of the council meetings. I would have to consult with the attorney, and I don't have an attorney at this point. I felt that was a little putting the cart before the horse. But I'm not 100% sure that the city attorney needs to be there, that the citizens should be paying a city attorney to be at every council meeting. And I've even seen the city attorney at some of the committee meetings. So I don't agree with that. And yes, I would be the one addressing the issues unless we did need council input.
Okay, thank you. The third part of that question, can we have videos of all council meetings in addition to committee meetings?
Absolutely. As well as committee meetings. I think all meetings should be taped and either live streamed or at least have a way for the citizens to go in and look at it at their leisure so that they can educate themselves. Education is key to me on getting issues understood by the public, passed on to the public, and approved. Everybody needs to know, and that is, I've spoken about this in one of my letters to the editor, that transparency, I think, is key to keeping the city, the public informed on issues. And if they don't understand the issues, they don't understand where their money's going. And that, to me, is very important.
Okay, thank you. And the last part of that transparency question is, can we have agendas of all meetings posted on Facebook or the website?
Yeah, I don't see why not. In fact, that's another thing I addressed is I would like to have the committee meeting agendas posted on the website. And Facebook, if we have somebody to handle Facebook, I don't see why not. The more the information's out there, the better for the public. So I'm all about get it out there. Get it in the paper. Get it in there's a box outside City Hall door, a windowed box that they post agendas on. And people need to even know that that's there. I'm not sure they do. So, yeah, the more places we can get information to the public, the better for us and for them, for transparency.
Okay, thank you. Question number 4. Carlinville's water supply is by far the most prevalent topic in this election. Take your allotted time to answer this question in terms of why you favor one plan over another, and try to clear up any misconceptions you believe voters have on this issue.
Okay. My personal preference, and the thing that I think I would push the hardest for, is restoring our own lake. I see it as our biggest asset. Our water treatment plant is capable of cleaning the water. We just need to keep moving forward on the project. When we lost the stimulus grant money, when we found out we weren't going to get it, Mayor Schwab started a 3-step program to rehabilitate our lake. And when I ran for mayor 8 years ago, I made the promise that I would continue that program. The 3 steps are watershed management, the water that runs into our lake from the ground around the lake had to have management, what's the word I want? No, I'm drawing a blank. Structures, thank you, Beth. We needed structures built to slow down the runoff into our lake and to help clean the water before it got to the lake. Second step was to build a silt dam. And we had the Army Corps of Engineers and EPA came to our meetings in 2017 and offered to help us with funding and design and build on a silt dam. That would further clean the water before it emptied into the main part of our lake. Third part was to dredge the lake. So there are ways to clean our lake so that we can continue using it for years to come, for us, for our children, for our grandchildren. And that is my main issue. That is what I would like to see us do. I'm told, however, that we would probably need a backup in order to get the lake cleaned out. So with that, I went to Litchfield and spoke with Mayor Daugherty and some engineers who have come up with a plan for Carlinville to run water from Litchfield to Carlinville's water treatment plant. It's treated water. It runs 15 miles. It would cost us about $4 million to do it. They would sell us water for as long as we needed. The contract is something we could get out of once we finished our lake, if we so chose. Or we could continue it, because the price that they've given us is actually less than what we are spending to make our own water right now. So there are options with that. But it's surface water in Litchfield, it's surface water in Carlinville. And that makes a difference. Because once we go over to Jerseyville and start bringing over groundwater, and don't get me wrong here, I don't have anything against groundwater. It's great water. But we're coming all the way from Jerseyville. We have to build a new water treatment plant, which is millions and millions of dollars. There's already a new water treatment plant over in Litchfield. Let's use it. My time's up.
Yes.
Sorry, I could go on with this for a long time.
Okay, thank you. It's a very important issue.
It is.
Question number 5. What does being a leader mean to you, and specifically in the role of mayor? Please provide an example of how you have demonstrated leadership previously.
I believe I demonstrated leadership, when I worked for the city and served as the economic development coordinator. I helped set up Shop Local. We got that started. I worked on the historic preservation downtown plan and helped lead that. We had meetings, multiple public meetings that interested individuals could come in and talk with us and give their ideas. So I helped lead those meetings. As a council member, I led the nonpartisan election program that we got going so that we don't have to spend money on primary elections for the city elections. So we got that eliminated. I led the push to cut back the size of the train station. That train station was going to be another 26 feet longer than it is, the building. So because I knew that the city was going to have to pay for all of the maintenance and everything that was going to go into that building from the time it was built forward, I wanted it cut back in size so it wouldn't be as much to have to manage. We got the platforms cut back because those had to be insured. And insurance for platforms for a train station are extremely expensive. So we got them cut back from 500 feet to 300 feet. It doesn't sound like terribly much, but it saved us in insurance costs. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of that?
It was just to give an example of how you have demonstrated leadership. So I think.
Did I hit on the question?
I think you answered that. Yes, thank you. Okay, so our last two questions, as I mentioned earlier, are questions that are specific just to each candidate that were submitted by readers. So your first question is, your previous tenure as an alderwoman was marked with little action and continued disruption to thwart progress. Can we expect the same behavior from you if elected mayor?
Well, I disagree with that description of my actions. I do agree that I was very vocal, that I spoke out when I saw something wrong and I felt that we were moving in the wrong direction. The train station was one example. I got much grief from some of the other aldermen because I questioned the size of the train station. It's like, why don't you just leave well enough alone? We've already got the design, let's just leave it. But my issue was future maintenance costs. So cut it down now before you build it, design it so that we can manage it in the future. So I did get grief for that. I got grief for wanting to put a vote to the people on the water issue. I felt very strongly that because what we were doing was going to affect people, it was going to affect their water bills for 40 years, that they had a right to vote on that, and got knocked down multiple times, knocked down. I don't see that as creating problems. I see that as bringing forward issues. And that is exactly what I'll do as your mayor. I will talk about the issues. I will make sure that everybody understands what we're doing and why we're doing it before it gets done. So yeah, I'll keep on doing that. You bet.
Okay, thank you. And your last question is, you have been accused of associating with people who have now been charged with criminal offenses. How can we trust you?
I know the gentleman who put that question out on Facebook is accusing me of associating with ex-Senator McCann. Ex-Senator McCann was in a meeting that I attended, and they came, Congressman Schilling, Senator McCann, Congressman Schilling's aide, Wes Lovelace, Mayor Schwab, and I sat in a meeting together and talked about issues of need for Carlinville. And that was when the water issue first came to light in their eyes, and they then decided they were going to try to help us. I never had any other conversations with Senator McCann after that. It was all Congressman Schilling's aide, actually, not even Congressman Schilling, but it was his aide who came to Carlinville, tried to help us figure out how we were going to get funding. We had applied already previously for a grant before the election, and we had not heard. We didn't hear. So Congressman Schilling's aide came back, set up meetings, and finally was the driving force behind us getting a meeting with the USDA Rural Development Office, during which we heard that we were not going to get the stimulus money because our Director of Public Works did not do her job. So from that point is when Mayor Schwab then started working on the 3-point plan to rehab our lake that I spoke about earlier. So I really don't know where this question is coming from. It was very kind of Senator McCann, Congressman Schilling, Wes Lovelace, and the aide to come to Carlinville to discuss our needs and try to help us. So if that is consorting with somebody, I don't apologize for it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Beth. And we've reached the conclusion of our questions, and so please take this last 2 minutes to offer your closing statement.
Thank you. I'm going to read it, if you don't mind.
Surely, that's fine.
Okay. I want to first say my heartfelt thanks to the Enquirer Democrat and Paula Endres for this opportunity. I think it speaks well for Carlinville that we have a newspaper that is willing to try to educate the public so they can make an informed decision on this election. I'm just sorry that my opponent chose not to participate in the debate that the paper worked so diligently to put together for the public. I really think that you learn a lot about an individual when you observe them in debate. We seem to have lost our sense of direction. Carlinville needs a new attitude and a new energy. I have a strong work ethic and a sense of determination that came from my dear parents, Harold and Patty Link. I have a business management skill, economic development experience, as well as integrity and a dedication of purpose to effect the positive changes that are so desperately needed to grow our community and accomplish the work ahead. We need to build stronger bridges between the elected officials and business and educational community. We need a sense of worth and belonging that needs to be restored among all of us. We need inclusion, not exclusion. The old ways aren't working any longer. I believe that with a vision of people coming together to use their talents to grow our economy, improve the quality of our drinking water, and make Carlinville a stronger community, we can dare to dream of a place where our children and grandchildren will have the means to stay and make a life for themselves. I believe that Carlinville has so much potential, but it takes honest, open communication, a shared vision, a good plan, and a sense of urgency to make our dreams a reality. It will take a leader with honorable ethics and strength of character. I promise you that if you elect me mayor of Carlinville, no one will work harder for you than I. I'm asking for your vote on April 6th. And I want to leave you with a quote from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Beth. We appreciate your time and answering the questions today and trying to make sure that voters out there excuse me, I lost my voice. It's time to end.
That's right.
Thank you for making it a point to answer the questions today so that voters can indeed be informed for the election. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.